Once there was a young man named Alex who loved playing video games. Every time a new game was released, he would rush to the store and buy it right away, no matter the cost. He would spend hours on end playing, neglecting his studies and even his friends. One day, Alex's grandfather came to visit him. Grandpa Jim was a wise old man who had seen much in his long life. He noticed that Alex had a lot of video games and asked him how much they cost. Alex proudly told him the price of each game, but Grandpa Jim just shook his head and told him a story. "When I was a young man," he said, "I wanted to buy a car. I worked hard and saved every penny I could until I had enough money to buy a nice car. But just as I was about to buy it, a wise old man told me to wait. He told me that if I saved a little more and waited a little longer, I could buy a better car that would last longer and be more reliable. So I listened to his advice and saved for another year. And when I finally bought my car, it was a much better investment than the one I had originally planned to buy." Alex listened to Grandpa Jim's story and thought about his own spending habits. He realized that he had been spending all his money on video games without thinking about the long-term consequences. He decided to start saving his money instead of spending it all on games. At first, it was hard for Alex to resist the urge to buy new games. He would go to the store and stare longingly at the shelves, but he reminded himself of the lesson his grandfather had taught him about delayed gratification. He started to save his money in a piggy bank and set a goal for himself, to save enough money to buy a new computer that would be powerful enough to play all his favorite games. It took Alex several months of saving, but eventually, he had enough money to buy the computer of his dreams. He was proud of himself for being patient and disciplined, and he realized that the computer was even more satisfying to use because he had worked hard to save up for it. From that day on, Alex learned the value of delayed gratification. He continued to save his money and set goals for himself, and he found that the things he bought were much more meaningful and satisfying when he had worked hard to earn them. He was grateful to his grandfather for teaching him such an important lesson, and he knew that he would carry it with him for the rest of his life.